Hello everyone, and welcome to BRL T3 Season 3. This is the second and final doubleheader of the season at Spa and Singapore. Singapore first, obviously. Just 7 seconds in, so we got the one-shot quali and then a 35% race to kick off the doubleheader evening. Got 17 drivers in attendance, which is a pretty good turnout. And yeah, this pole is quite an important thing at Singapore. Definitely is. It's quite hard to overtake. Apart from that one overtaking spot as seen there on the track photos. But apart from everything, it's probably looking like it's a good race. It's probably going to turn out to be an entertaining race. As it's just taking its time. Believe people are just putting on their setups, just waiting to go. Some people are probably just taking longer than others, or just trying to fiddle with what they can on their strategies, but should be going anytime now. And they're all about to start their laps. I think we're right on board of Billy to start the day out even. Oh, as Akbasi is actually on pole for no god. It's really hard to keep up with one-shot quali, so it's hard to keep up with everyone. But Billy is in the lead along with Zach and Callum. Pretty much the battle for the constructors there. I can't actually get up to everyone at the top. As Drifting's actually retired. I don't know if he was saying a quali ban, but now it's the McLaren 2-3. It's really hard to find people to spectate in a one-shot quali. There's Billy, the guy who's on provisional pole right now in the Mercedes. As Sam is now taking provisional pole. It's right above the Aston Martin. Chucks it through the middle set. He used to obviously be the Singapore Sling. The championship leader Callum takes the provisional pole for a second. But Sam looking like it's going to be his first pole of the season, but Callum is still there with him in the McLaren. Had versus Wheel, and so with Wheel again with Billy. But it's looking good for Sam right now, who's had a good exit out of the second sector. Gonna set himself well up for the final couple of corners of this long back straight. No DRS, of course, so it's mainly dependent on how low you're running your wings, but looks like Sam might take his first pole of the season, and it's like a McLaren 3-4, maybe a 2-3. As Callum comes across the line, Sam will take pole just by 0.2 from Callum, and then Billy narrowly just behind him. Then Snipes, I believe, in P4. I couldn't catch the rest of the grid, but I'll get them back up for people now. As it was Tiendello who slotted himself up to P5 in the end, which is a good final sector. Zach in P6, and followed behind by his Williams teammate P7. A Power championship contender, has not a good start to the season, but P8. Devil Driver P9, John Dawson P10, Andy Moore P11, Joshua Stephen P12, Ben Schwarmer P13, Lord Cuz P14, Megan P15, Drifting P16 without saying a lap, and Akbasi DSQ'd. So he's probably had to either park it up somewhere and couldn't get his car back onto track or something like that. But that is your grid for the first race at Singapore. Ooh, that's thrown a spanner into the works. It is heavy rain to kick us out for the evening. Monsoon weather at Singapore. As you can see in the Red Bull pit lane, there is full wet tyres there, so That probably gives us a good picture of what the race conditions are going to be like. It's going to be full wet for a while. It's just people doing their strategy, as it might get dry in the end, but you never know. Some races it could be full wet, some races it could just be wet for 5 laps. But some people might risk the inters. That would be a risk, but wets are probably going to be the quick tyres to start off the evening. And something that is quite important with the wets is they only last for a couple of laps before the pace drops off. But it is 5 lights and we are racing at Singapore, sorry. As Sam does get a good start from Callum. We will try to challenge him to turn 1. He will put his nose in, but there's no real room to make anything work there. Billy has to back out and has to drop down to 3rd. Snipes and Dello having a battle. Around the outside goes the Mercedes. The Williams have stayed in peace. P6 and 7, they power up into P8. P9 goes Devil Driver. Andy Moore racing back there, trying to get up into the points. Benchwarmer in P12 making his debut, forgot to mention. But Jakey Boy's got a 5-second time penalty for an illegal overtake. I hope probably look to try and get that one removed. But Callum and Billy, championship rivals, going side by side. Is it? No, Callum actually Sam. Sorry, I completely didn't notice that. Callum takes the lead in the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Sam in the wet conditions. Callum having a better run than Slipstream, but it's Dello and Snipes who are having the battle at the back there, the McLarens, as drifting has already crashed it, as a VSC and Dello just about got ahead of Snipes at the end there. I'll check on the mini-map, the lap delta on, telemetry on, detail position changes, not really many positions change except for Akbasu who's going 4, and apart from that, no real gains or losses. That safety car won't be upgraded to a full safety car even, but Callum going quite slowly in that delta there. Or Sam is going a bit too fast. But one thing's for sure, you don't want to go drive through, especially at Singapore, because that will set you quite far back. The biggest gainers of this safety car is probably Mercedes, who have now got 2 cars in the top 5. Dello can probably be used as an anchor behind Snipes, who can look to... Snipes probably wants to get up ahead of Billy to help against Callum, as Sam is going into the pits. That is a... Ooh, that's why Sam has got half a wing. There's a missing end plate on that Aston Martin, and... We're now racing. It didn't actually get told we were, but Snipes now having a really, really hard look on Dello. McLaren versus Mercedes here. Customer team versus factory team. And Dello will just get the inside line and better traction ahead of Snipes. And will just stay ahead. Zach will have a peek through the inside of the turn 4. He has a better one. Rinses the ERS. Billy is nowhere near to make a move in the first, but Zach up to put 4th. Snipes is still able to go down the inside, does the McLaren. There's a good move turning out there from the McLaren driver as he just gets down the outside. Zach is still there in the inside. A bit of wheel banging. And oh, Snipes in the wall as he got wing damage. That front wing somehow still intact, but quite hard racing there as the McLaren has to back out, otherwise he would have had probably 3 tyres and no wing. Callum nearly breaching a second from Billy in the Mercedes, who is really treacherous conditions out there, as Callum and Billy are both treading very, very carefully at the top. Dello's gap is extensively growing against Zach and Billy, so they're probably all dropping off. There's a car off there, it's Akbasa, he's lost his wing, probably a collision with Sam at the back there, who's going quite slowly too. It's another virtual safety car. So the FIA don't want to drop out the full safety car to spice things up. It's only the virtuals, as Andy Moore's got past benchwarmer underneath the VSC. What the hell have I just seen? Andy Moore has just pulled a brake check. Well, wow, to say the least. So that has... I don't think anyone has just got something anyone's out, but I know Snipes is going in, is he? No, he wasn't in, but no one, everyone's just taking a weird line. Ooh, that's not good. As Sam and Zach and Snipes have both got a drive-through for speeding into the VSC. It's a double whammy for the Williams and McLaren. Definitely not what they needed. Both of them sped under the virtual safety car, which is quite a rare sight. As so did, I believe, Megan, I think, in the AlphaTauri. Without, or it's just a collision. But yeah, that's very unfortunate from both of them. I believe they both got drive-through. Full detail penalties. Yeah, 2 drive-throughs, 3 drive-throughs. Yeah, Megan got 1 too. As Akbasi gets a 5-second pen for crossing the pit lane exit. Crossing the pit exit line. Didn't know you can get a penalty for that, but Callum is pretty much out to a second of Billy. Of course, there is no DRS available in this race, as you can see with the weather. But Callum just doing what he needs to do. DRS is quite a bit different to Billy, but ooh, Dello got a massive bit of understeer there. As Zach and Snipes will probably peel off to save their drive-throughs now. Definitely not what they needed. Both challenging for a podium. Now gives up their P4 and 5 spots respectively and gets a power ride to P4 after having a bad qualifying. Promotes Jakey into P5, Andy Moore P7, and Zach and Snipes will probably come out P11. No, P10. I'd say P9, P10. They're probably going to stay where they are. Maybe if Devil Driver can get the undercut both of them. I know he hit earlier, but as the AlphaTauri goes, is he going to get ahead of Zach? He has just about got ahead of him. Sam's the fastest lap of the race. As Dello's gap with Billy is growing exponentially, I think that's a word, but he's going quicker on this lap though. But Billy it's still a second to Callum. The gap is still fluctuating. Their championship rivals, 4 points in it in the standings. It's not only the drivers, it is the constructors too. McLaren versus Mercedes. That seems to be the oncurring battle this season. The papaya versus the black and neon blue. Don't know what you'd call that colour, but blue to say the least. But yeah, doing what he needs. He's rinsing the ERS. Marco Pasta has joined. He got P7, I think, in P8 or some points in Spain. Actually, no, he got P11. Skill issues on that. Joshua Stevens is trying to make a move on Andy Moore. No real. Is he going to go down the inside? He will go down the inside. It's a good move from the Alfa Romeo. There's a bit of wheel banging. Andy Moore turns in and Andy Moore turns out of the race. He gets his as another virtual. Nope, that has been upgraded to a full safety car. As you can see him in the mini map. And Andy Moore was driving well, but a silly mistake costs him nearly. And that will be a full course safety car, I believe. Yeah. You know what? I think while we're here, can look at the standings. After Spain, of course, last week, Callum is in the lead, 4 points to Billy. Then 22 points away is Drifting, 09, who is DNF from this race. So the championship dream might be already fading for the Alfa Romeo driver. But Zach right behind him, 29 points off the championship lead in the Williams. And then Snipes also there, kind of 40 points. So it's a bit of a bigger gap in terms of championship. But I definitely think that it's between those four. But drifting has probably tipped his hat and said goodbye to the championship, as at the end of this race he'll probably be 40 points-ish behind the championship leader, around there, maybe even 50. As Callum and Billy have both come to this. Of course, Billy has to do what Callum does because they are both in the championship fight, but Callum probably going to go for new wets, maybe Inters actually. Inters for the McLaren and Inters for Billy. Dello has actually just stayed out because he's the second Mercedes. It's definitely intermediates, as Jakey Boy getting held up massively from near the entire grid there. Oh, he's actually saving a 5 seconds. My bad. As a power has also a power pit for Inters earlier, which means he's got a massive undercut on nearly the entire grid, which has saved his skin in this race to say the least. A great effort from my power to get himself up into P2 with Dello ahead on those old wets. He'll definitely probably want to get them off immediately, as it's pretty much nearly dry. The track does look a bit slippery, but there's not much rain falling on the track now. Jesus. Right. Sorry, I am back at for a second. Missed the safety car restart, but I think everything's gone well. I think a few cars have actually dropped back from the rest of the pack with Snipes and Zach. But overall, I think it was a good restart for him. Power, who's actually held off Callum, but he's got Billy behind him. It's way closer than he was before. Dello has fallen to last, of course. He just booted on the wets. Don't know why these lot are so far off the grid though, as Benchwarmer is quite far down already. He has made his, I think that's his third stop this day. As Dello gets a 3-second penalty by track limits. It's quite hard to get actually track limit penalties at Singapore. Of course there's the running wide at turn 4, cutting turn 1, but apart from that nothing really is. But Callum is gaining quite rapidly on a power quite defenceless in the wet really. He's not really been there today with the pace wise, but a power is probably going to try hold on to that win for a long time. If I did win, no, not if Aston Martin did take a win this time last season of Singapore, as Jakey Boy and Devil Driver having a bit of a battle there. This is actually the closest battle on track right now, Jakey and Devil Driver. Devil is only 3 times behind for now, but doesn't really have a good exit. Billy said it's the fastest lap of the race, so he's definitely the quickest out of these three. Callum is struggling to overtake Para at the moment. Of course, those inters are quite hold up. Billy's trying to go around the outside of Callum, but no room at the end there for him. Sam's the first lap of the race. As now this will be interesting. Callum versus Para, they crashed last week out twice, I think. The last 3 races, I think they've crashed twice, but Callum has to back out. No room to make a move. There's Billy's going really wide from it. Not benefiting at all from that move. As Devil Driver and Jakey Boy both had a tug to see who gets into P4, but none of them can get past. Devil Driver can't get past Jakey for now. He's doing well to defend. Definitely is. There's not really any other moves so far. Zach is still catching Snipes, stamping on the throttle, trying to get his car to keep going. But for now at least, no real moves there for him. Oh, Billy's very close to the wall there too. Ooh, that's also way too close as he just ran into the back of Callum. Callum is struggling to get past Power because Power going so slow means Billy keeps jamming into the back of Callum. It's kind of just a reinvented trolley train. Devil Driver gets a 3 second for warnings, so that's not going to help him in his fight against Jakey. But this will be a key part of the race for a lot of them. A Parrot is only 2 tenths ahead of Callum. It's definitely closes as there's a off at the back there. I don't know who it was. Someone's had a incident. Yellow flags were out for a brief moment, but nothing out there. Callum's going to try and go down the outside of a Parrot. No room for him to go around the outside there. He's being very cautious. He has to think about that championship, of course, because Billy is right behind him as he's nearly going down the inside of the next corner. But just no room. Parrot is parking that car brilliantly as he's trying to get Billy to go around the outside of Callum, get them to the battle. And there's an off. Akbasi has, I think, pinned it again. Didn't actually get to see it. But definitely not the week or season Ferrari really wanted. Let's have a look at tyres. Full tyres. There you go. Power's only on 1 lap old inters, so not really massive tyre difference, but 1 lap is still 1 lap is 20 odd corners around Singapore, so that's definitely more than what you'd think. Callum sets up turn, maybe a turn 1 overtake, nothing there because he tried to send the car up to go wider. As seen in like MotoGP, as you set the car wider to get the nice bit of traction, but can't really do it in the wind as Callum stays in P2. But he's going to have a really good run into the second straight with no DRS of course, but there's still a healthy amount of overtaking activity as Ben Shorman has retired. I don't know if that's intentional, but Callum and Apara, it's happened again. Apara and Callum have had an off, kind of T-boned each other. Looks like Apara didn't leave enough room, but Billy benefits again and takes the lead. Now, I was going to say, Apara should be careful because Callum has a knack for cropping out parts of clips where it's actually his fault for causing a collision, and then crops it out for making it look like your fault, but that is generally just Apara's fault. There's no real shade about it. As Billy now has clean air and 3 road. See, Callum's actually fallen under pressure from Devil Drive. Now there's no damage to see on that front wing, but Apara is still in P4 as well, so he's still in this race at least, but Callum definitely kicking himself for that, as he probably did have damage because he is coming into the pits to have a change of inters and probably a new front wing to go with it, as Billy sets the fast start of the race as he does. As will he have a new front wing? Apara hasn't pit. And yeah, there is a new front wing going on for that McLaren. It's a championship leader, not what he wanted. Josh, Jakey and Apara having a bit of a battle back there. Snipes is trying to get in on the battle too. Power did have to back out from Josh's move, and he's fallen down to P5. Not what the former leader wanted. Zach and Snipes have actually, despite having their drive-throughs, have now finally managed to claw their way back into the race in some way, shape or form, as Zach in P7, Snipes in P9. As Sam runs awfully wide, Aston Martin 6.8 is probably going to fall down to a P7.9 very soon. As Snipes tries to go down the inside of Sam, there wasn't much of an opening there for him, as he couldn't really make a move just stick. And that will spice things up definitely, as a Para gets a 6-second penalty. Not 6 second, a 3 second. Just half it. Blistering lap from Callum to get him up into the 44s, but he still isn't anywhere near him. He's catching a lot of cuz, but definitely hoping for later pit stops or tyre wear, definitely. Oh, Snipes is coming into the pit as Lord Cuz has also binned it in the Red Bull. Definitely not what he wanted, but Snipes is pitting. He has got a front wing change needed for the McLaren too. Didn't catch it. There might have been some contact there. His Dello kind of passed him too, so I don't know what happened, but I definitely missed it. My apologies. But Zach going round the outside of a Paris. Sam has left the session. See if I can get him back in quickly. Where is he? There you are. Sam should be back in. As Zach and a Para make a bit of contact just as I hop back out onto the game. As Zach is quite eager to get past the Aston Martin. He does have a penalty, so he should be a bit more cautious, but I'm pretty sure Sam did disconnect, but he's still keeping with Zach and the Para. Let me just check the AI level. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. The difficulty, it's 81% AI, so it's definitely shouldn't be that low. Bench warmer, leave DNF in the pit lane. I believe Bassey's had another off. So he's probably spun. He's get lapped now from the leaders. Jakey Boy's caught back up to Devil Driver after the early little setback, but the only real battle right now is with Zach and a Para. A Para definitely not having the best of race pace in Singapore, but Zach definitely still trying to have a go down the inside of him. There's a very not much room for Zach to say at least as Callum. So it's a 1:44.44.0. Very blessed lap as he comes out right ahead. No, 21 seconds ahead of Snipes actually, as Callum is trying to get past Megan, but Zach did get past Callum. No, not Callum, a Para. A Para will fight it, but ooh, there's a wall there. I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to go into it, but yeah, as a Para, ooh, bit of team game says he's trying to let his teammate pass, but he's intentionally blocking him, pretty much. They apparently are playing the team game, but for the wrong team. As he now peels over to let Sam pass. That is definitely not what Aston Martin wanted. Sam might have actually got damage from his incident with a para, but after wait and see, as a lot of people are coming into the pits for their second pit stop, as that will help Callum gain a lot of positions back. He's had another fastest lap of the race. He's nearly into 143s. And let me tell you, it's got dry. It was just about to say, it is getting drier, and that is definitely a sign that the conditions are dry, as Joshua Stevens has come out on the red soft tyres. And look at that, this track there's no rain at all, but Akbasi has gone off again, as he's on the softs too, which I don't know if it's skill issues or that might just be him having a off. He has gone off again, has Akbasi. Don't know if he has retired this time. That's a retirement on track, because I don't think it's a crash. That we've run out of cautions, but I think we have actually. I think we've generally run out of cautions for today. Nope. No, I don't know, because we had three. We had one virtual, the second virtual that got upgraded to a caution, a full course, and yeah. Let's keep it riding on board with Joshua Stevens, because that Alfa Romeo has definitely been blessed. Well, blessed with the opportunity to maybe snatch his first win in God knows how long, but the gap is slowly creeping in from Callum, as the leaders do pit as well. Billy, Devil Driver, Jakey, and they all pit. Zach also comes into the pits. Billy's actually already out on the soft, so he's definitely in the clear. But Caleb is definitely not doing. Josh actually goes up to third. Out of nowhere, does the Alfa Romeo comes up into the podium contention. Para picks up another penalty as well. The race has really fallen away from the Aston Martin. Billy does look like he has probably wrapped up a very dominant win. Josh gets a penalty, right as Jakey Boy and Devil Diver both get penalties too. Sam is back in the pack too after having that off at the start of the race, or just bad strategy. The Aston is slowly climbing at power. Now on the mediums is definitely definitely showed he did not have the pace in the wet, but he definitely has the pace in the dry. As he sets a fast lap on the race on the mediums, as Snipes now beats that with the time on the soft tyres, but pretty much has a full blast to the end really from now. Ooh, as Megan has a, I think has a, maybe a crash with Dylan, maybe? No. Not too sure, but something's happened to him there as he had it off, definitely. Devil Driver maybe had an issue there with Josh, because they were 3-4 for a long time then, as now they've suddenly fallen down to 5th and 6th. I didn't catch it, but Josh's podium chances are definitely go down the drain there. It was looking good for the Alfa Romeo, but now it's looking slim, as Sam is definitely probably going to get a podium if he keeps it within the white lines. As Zach out of nowhere, I didn't even notice it at first, but then Zach was just sending it around the outside of Josh. Didn't even see him coming around the outside, but great move from the Williams, who's charging to try and get himself up to a potential P4. It'd be a good result if Williams can take a P2 and P4 on the road. Billy does get into 33, he's quite convincing with a 33.5. So a very good lap from Billy, as he's actually just started the final lap of the race as a Mercedes. He was pretty much in the clear, really, as he kind of benefited from that collision of a Power and Callum, and since then hasn't really looked back. as Billy finishes off the last chicane, rounds out the final flat corner. It's been quite an impressive drive from Mercedes. Will take the championship lead for now. We do have Spa next, but he does take the win at Singapore. Jakey, a long way back, who only now is getting for the chicane. He will get a nice podium for Williams. I believe it's his first or second of the season. So it's a good effort from Jakey to finally get a good points total on the board. Sam, first podium on the wheel. Good effort from Sam. Devil Driver P4, that's a decent result. Zach does overtake him on pens. Callum will get P5 on track, so he's only lost 11 points to Billy. It's still a breakable gap, but still not what you wanted really. But Snipes will finalise. No, he's not finished in the top 10. Dello is. Dello will round out the top 10 in P10 in the Mercedes. And that is it for your Singapore Grand Prix. I'll end the stream early so I have a bit of time off to start Spa. Actually, I'll get results first. I might need to do that.